Well, here we are at the beginning of another battle. In fact, this one is rather strange because, in fact, it was actually played before the previous battle. So, in some ways, we're looking back in time. As occurred yet again versus the Empire of the Dust, with Steve the Magnificent playing the Empire of the Dust. As I said, this was two slightly different armies from previously, and here we have the deployment. For the Hand of Dust, we have Bone Giant, the 6 skeleton turrets, the Pharaoh the Horse, 3 Web Riders, 10 skeleton horse, 40 skeleton spears, another Pharaoh, 3 Guardians, a Soul Snare, 20 Revenant Infantry, and a horde of 40 skeleton archers, and then finally another Pharaoh. On the other side, we have a Chimera at the front there, 4 to 40 warriors, 20 berserkers, a shaman and a BSB, 20 longhorns, 6 brutes, a brute champion, 20 berserkers, 10 centaurs I should say, 6 stampede, and a brute ox at the very far end. Quite difficult to see from this angle. And there they are. That's how they deployed into the swamp and a hill at the far near end, at the very far end of building. I believe some difficult terrain around the middle. The first turn, and the herd move up using their superior speed as much as they possibly can. The far end you can see the stampede, the centaurs and the bulldogs move up quite rapidly. They send the herd, the warriors move up to the river edge. Here's another scene. There's a few shots taken and wounds received by the centaurs on this side, and over on the other side I believe that the horde of warriors for the herd also had some wounds shot off them by the skeletons chariots. However, they had moved in too close. I had misjudged it completely, and the chariots were able to charge along with the horsemen straight into the horde of warriors there, and also the Bone Giant was able to close in on the Chimera. Not good for the Chimera, especially since I had also neglected to enable it to fly. Although it had the flappy wing things, it wasn't going to fly today. It couldn't be done. So, not looking good on the left flank, and not looking good on the right flank either, really, because the Revenants managed a huge sweeping side swipe across and managed to charge the centaurs on the side. That's 24 attacks, not very good, probably the end of the centaurs, and blocking their way with the Guardians stood right at the rear so that the berserkers couldn't do a rear charge of their own onto the Revenants. So all a bit difficult at the moment. Now, as you can see, the warriors are no more. They are completely and utterly destroyed. The Bone Giant inflicts a few wounds onto the Chimera, and he's turned looking inwards towards the chariots. The chariots have moved forward. My left flank is extremely exposed. My shaman looks very, very dodgy, all on his own, out on the edge. As you can see, the horsemen have charged in and have attacked the longhorns, whilst the unit of berserkers have dashed forward and attacked the spearmen. Now, this I thought would go better than it did, and I thought perhaps I might have managed to clear away the horsemen, but no, they stayed firm in this central combat. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, the centaurs were killed, and that left the Revenants free to attack the next unit. But actually, it was the berserkers that charged them. The Guardians charged the Guardians, as it were. The Stampede and the Butox charged into the archers on the far side, and were about to leave a rather nasty mess over there. Things were getting more complicated on the left flank, as the Chimera dodged to the Bone Giant and tried a clever maneuver by going into the side of the chariots. This was doing him absolutely no good. whatsoever. The Stampede and the Brutox dismantled the archers quickly, and the Guardians, the herd Guardians, destroyed the other Guardians themselves. That left the Revenants and the Berserkers stuck in combat. You can see here that the Stampede have got their eye on the Revenants, and it's the back end of the Revenants they've got their eye on. Over on the left flank, things were not going so well. The Berserkers bounced off the big spearmen, and so did the Longhorns off of the horsemen, the skeleton horsemen. Now the skeleton horsemen moved slightly to one side to allow the Worm Riders to charge into the Longhorns. This was to prove fatal, while the skeleton chariots unleashed a counter-charge on the Chimera. Not good. Now here you can see the Stampede preparing for that rear charge, and the Berserkers managing to hold out rather well against the Revenants. On the other side, however, the moons are mounting. The Bone Giant attacks the Chimera in the side, and things are not looking good. This may well leave my Shaman and the Battle Standard Bearer a bit adrift in the middle there. On this side, things are beginning to get organised. The Brutox, just out of shot there, has the Soul Snare in its sights, and on this side you can just about tell that things are not going particularly well. Berserkers, for instance, have disappeared completely. The Longhorns are just about holding out, and the Chimera's putting up a stout fight, but not for long. Stampede enter the fray and charge into the backside of the Revenants. That's a ridiculous number of attacks. It's 90 attacks, which is rather a lot. You triple your attacks if you charge in the rear, and they get 30 attacks normally, so that's 90 attacks all in all. Steve the Magnificent didn't expect there to be any Revenants left, especially when the Guardian Lord charged as well. On the left, still the Chimera are still alive somehow, and the Longhorn still struggling on, as the skeleton spearmen turn towards the Guardians to face them. Here we can see that the Revenants have indeed been snuffed out, as has the Soul Snare. Now, I believe that we're possibly going to miss a shot or two in a moment. No, I am quite wrong. Now here we go. The Longhorns dead, as I predicted, and the Chimera dead as well, leaving the PSP and the Shaman in a rather sticky situation. You can see them both there, the PSP in the middle of the river, the Shaman there, and you can see that the skeleton spears made a charge on the Guardian Brutes, but unfortunately they failed to get there, even with, I believe, a little bit of magical assistance. They were a few inches short. Now this sets them up nicely. Now this is where the shots disappear. I think the Guardian Brutes, they charge in the front, but along with the Guardian Lord, but I think off screen, up to what would be the top right, the Brutox made a massive charge through the rough terrain and into the side of the skeleton spearmen. This did them no good at all. As you can see in this shot, just about, they're gone. It's because they were destroyed. Now, it meant that the right flank belonged to the herd, and the left flank to the Empire of Dust. And I needed some time in order to stop the Empire of Dust just running straight into me. So, the Shaman and the PSP bravely stood in these two fast units' path, and did miraculously well, because it's quite difficult actually in this game to kill characters, and they managed to survive a whole turn of combat. When it came to the high turn, they moved swiftly out of the way, and this enabled my forces to gain some sort of stability. And there they are, they charged in the Berserkers charged into the skeleton horsemen, while the Brutes attacked the Bone Giant, and the Brutox charged into the chariots. It was a dismal showing on the first turn round. They did not do so well, managing a few wounds on each, none of which managed to get rid of anybody whatsoever. But the second round, I believe, of combat left the chariots destroyed, and so were the horsemen, leaving just the bone giant and the guardians in combat. He's turned to the side, not because he doesn't like them or he's not turning the other cheek or anything silly like that, it's just because he wouldn't fit. Atmospheric shot there of the last scenes of the game. And with that, the Brutox closed in on Pharaoh, so in the middle of the stream, and I believe that the Guardian Brute Lord charged into another character, a Pharaoh on a horse, I believe it was. You can see him in the background, and there's another detailed shot coming up, but neither were dispatched. Despite the raining down of heavy blows upon their brow, nothing at all happened to either of them. Now, there you go, they both survived the end of the game. But it was, in fact, a very definite victory to the herd this time, despite all my misgivings at the beginning of the game. So, victory to the herd, and a very interesting, exciting game it was too. Thank you very much.